In this episode of Cassius Tales, we wake up in a stunning location, only to find out that we can't leave.
Beautiful, calm and peaceful anchorage just turned into a trap.
Whilst waiting for the situation to improve, we'll harvest some fresh seafood and trade with locals.
So calm, not an ounce of wind. The water is like a still pond. Really good anchorage. Perfect place to anchor.
Good morning.
Good morning, this is perfect. I woke up thinking that maybe we're in the shallows, but we're actually not. It's just the water that still.
As the tide started to ebb, a few locals emerged from the village and started wondering about the reef, harvesting something. This sparked our curiosity, so Richard went to investigate.
Oh my goodness, look, that's the mouth. Oh my god, that is strange. Do you eat this? No? 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 No. Okay, thank you guys. Asante sana.
While Richard was busy mingling with the locals, I stayed on the boat and watched in horror as the water level kept dropping and the reef got closer and closer.
This is a little bit unnerving now because our beautiful, calm and peaceful anchorage just turned into a trap. When the tide dropped, we discovered that we're surrounded by reef on all sides, but the tiniest little gap. We're still sitting in 3, almost 4 meters of water, which is quite reassuring, but there is no way we can get out of here until the tide starts rising. We are in spring tides now, and the tidal range is about 4 meters. So we should be fine in a few hours, but at the moment we'll just stay put and wait.
Drone footage confirmed our fears. We were right in the middle of it, surrounded by reefs and sandbars. Keels almost touching the bottom, we had little hope to leave this spot anytime soon.
So I've went over to the island to see what they're collecting. Oh, and they're collecting clams and some kind of mussel. It was really cool. No one spoke English, but I negotiated, don't know how, but I bought for 10,000 shilling. It resides in the back of
Oh my god!
the kayak.
Oh my god, look at all of that!
10 grand. But no one spoke English, only they were so happy. I gave them more money, but they were such wonderful, 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 wonderful girls.
And now the real work begins.
Yeah, it's just cleaning up all the mud off these mussels here.
Hey, we just discovered they're actually mussels.
Yeah, under all this mud, they're actually mussels.
They're small.
Yeah, they're small, but I think they'll be
They're
really
mussels.
tasty. We'll cook up a bunch tonight, and then we'll put some in the fridge for the next few nights. We'll have mussels.
So now we were just waiting.
This chart is not quite accurate. Actually, the reef protrudes a lot further in.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Which we just realized this morning. It's looking like the tide is finally rising, so we can attempt to escape our trap. We're 3 hours past the low tide, still rising, which is good because if we do run aground, we'll wait for a bit and go afloat, but we will go very slow, very slow.
We don't want to run aground, do we?
No, we don't. That's a sandbank.
Leaving this anchorage wasn't our last challenge. We were soon navigating some very confused waters with strong currents pushing the boat around.
What I think that is, it's actually water turbulence because the tide is now the fastest, really flowing, flooding very fast. So what we're seeing is a lot of water trying to squeeze itself between the sandbars and the reefs.
Sure.
And so different colors are just the currents, the counter currents, and all the whirlpools of water. Yeah, is the boat gets pushed around a bit?
Yeah, boat's getting pushed around a fair bit, yes.
Yeah, so it does look like water turbulence. It's not dangerous.
No, it just makes it slower getting out.
Our next anchorage was recommended by East Africa Pilot by Delwyn McFun. This book is the only official publication on this area and is now over 30 years old.
There is a patch of sand right here, Jen. Let's try and have a look at this one here, shall we? We're in 4 meters now. I think if the rocks are flat or shallow, then perhaps we can anchor there, but we'll dive the chain and see what the chain may wrap around.
How beautiful is this water? We were dying to go for a swim, but it soon became clear that anchoring in the spot won't be ideal.
Too many rocks. Big one right there. 4.6.
We've gone to this anchorage, which has been recommended once again, and we've got just a steep drop off of 25 meters, and it's shallows of 4.5 meters with bommies everywhere.
And we're on the high tide.
And we're on the high tide, yes. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find pockets of sand, but every time we found a pocket, it would be a big bommy there as well. Because as the tide drops tonight at 3.5 or 3.8 meters, we're pretty much going to hit the ground. So we can't have any rocks around us. So we're going. We're getting the hell out of here to try another anchorage. Done. I've got a salt eradicator. So I've got a salt eradicator that's in the water there. So I've just washed the anchor lock and everything down. Just trying to remove some of the salt.
Now, more importantly, are we happy with this anchorage?
Yes, Shania, I'm happy with this anchorage. The reason is because the other anchorages, as discussed, was actually quite shallow and a lot of bommies around, and we don't like to go in any of those areas. Swell coming from one side of the island and wind from the other, and sort of coming a cresting type situation. Very uncomfortable, plus, you know, all the bommies and everything around. So we've decided to come over to another side of the island. We found this place with the mangroves, and it's quite calm. Pemba is a bit difficult to sail around, actually.
Now let's just hope that we're not going to wake up tomorrow on the reef.
Yeah, let's hope we don't wake up on the reef. I think we'll be right, to be honest. Mind you, this morning the reef was right beside us and we were closed in, so I don't know. We've also got the sandbar that wraps around us too, so we have to be really careful of that at the low tide. Anyway, keep watching.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, we didn't wake up on the reef, which is quite refreshing. But there's not much to this anchorage. The water is quite murky. These kids are getting a little bit annoying. So we're gonna move Cassius about 30 miles north. Hopefully we can go for a swim, because 2 days with no swim, that's just not why we live on a boat.
Look how close we are. I know it's very hard to capture, but look how close we are to that sandbar there, all the sand.
Before we hoisted our anchor, we had a visit from the local fisherman.
Me, Mohammed Halfan Mohammed, Arabic.
Mohammed,
and your name?
Huh?
Nasoro.
Nazarul and Mo, Mohammed.
And my brothers.
Okay. Okay, guys. Shukran. I'll see you later. Thank you. Bye bye, guys. Thanks for the crab. Asante sana. Bye bye. Thank you.
What just happened?
We just bought 5 crabs. 5 beautiful looking, I think they're called Spanish crabs or blue crab. Yeah, blue
Or
crab.
for an equivalent of $1.
$1. So we're going to cook these up tonight.
Yeah, we didn't quite wake up on the reef, but just about.
2.6 meters.
As we were pulling up our anchor, we discovered that it was actually on the sand. In what, 2.6 meters?
2.6 meters.
2.6 meters of water. Don't try it at home. Don't try it on a monohull. So now we're sailing through this gap here. Amazing to see what gets exposed at low tide, because the land is the yellow and green is all the sandbars and reef, which you don't see on a high tide, but we're now on a low tide, so we can see it perfectly clear. A bit sketchy.
Sketchy. So generally we don't sort of sail through these little narrow passages, but because we've got the winds and it's decent enough and we've got great vision on the low tide, we decided we'd go sailing through it. Yeah. And a high tide's even better, but honestly it's better doing it during the day when you can see the reef and see the sandbars. Because at the moment we were heading toward the sandbar. I was watching it, and then all of a sudden it's on the chart here, it shows we're completely missing it. So you'll have the visual on it too.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Absolutely.
Sandbar is fascinating.
We made it to the next spot just in time for sundowners and dinner.
Mussels and crab on the menu tonight. Oh my God, look at that.